Are you ready? I said, are you ready? You are listening to Voice of the Fans Sportscast, brought to you by none other than the voices of the fans. Discussing football, basketball, news, trending topics. The one-stop shop for all things sports. Voice of the Fans Sportscast. Hosted by none other than Ben Swift Reynolds, Taylor Gatwood, 100% RC, Professor Damian Flowers, and Tyler Wright.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Voice of Fans Sportscast. I'm your host, Ben Swift Reynolds. We have 100% RC with us and Professor Flowers tonight. What's going on, fellas?
What's up, man?
Man,
What's
nothing
going
much.
on?
Bear with me a sec. I'm having some technical difficulties.
Man, I am too a little bit. My video was freezing up a little bit. I'm like, what is going on? Yeah, it's still freezing up. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on tonight. But anyway, man, huh?
You tried to reboot it and started off. Can you hear me?
It probably, yeah, I hear it's like it's a little bit lagging on my side, but I'm sure it'll catch back up. Anyway, man, what y'all been up to?
Man, working, man. You know, we work at the same place, so you know what it is.
Yes. Yeah, man.
All work.
Other than battling traffic, man, things fine. I thought Milwaukee had this game 5, and they giving it away. I don't know how, but it was in overtime. And I look at my phone before the show starts, and they say that Milwaukee is eliminated. And I'm trying to figure out what in the world happened within 10 seconds.
What were they up by?
It was up by when I got out the car, they was up by 6 with like 30 seconds left in overtime.
Dang. And they must have turned the ball over and missed a couple of shots or something like that. All right, the other team hit some threes in order to cut the lead.
It had to be a turnover, like you saying, a couple of big shots made.
In order to give up the lead like that, especially in overtime. Well, like Giannis might be on the move in the offseason. We're gonna go into Fastbreak to start the show. So let's go and get into it. All right, the Cavs beat the Heat 138-83. Flowers, man, how good are the Cavs looking right now?
Reverb.
Yeah, I heard that too. Yo, Flowers.
Me.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I said, what do you think about the Cavs win over the series on the Heat?
I apologize for the technical difficulties, but it was easy work. It was easy work for the Cavs, especially last night. I feel like the Cavs just came out and asserted themselves, and showed why they're a top 2 seed in the East against the Heat. Actually, I was surprised by the Heat's performance. I thought that them coming home would prepare them to play a little better because they did play pretty good in game 2. But the past 2 games, it hasn't been a competition. Kudos to the Cleveland Cavaliers taking care of business.
Yes, indeed, man. The Cavs like world beers. RC, man, do you have the Cavs as one of the teams that gonna end up in the finals?
Yeah, I do. I'm in the Charlotte play. The amount of energy that they play with, they look really poised, and I think this is a great coach. They really did. Um, I ain't gonna say they lose much by losing Bickerstaff, but it sounds like the coach they have now, he's reaping the benefits of whatever Bickerstaff did. He's just adding his system, but they just look focused, man. They look hungry. So hoping they can keep it up when they face elite competition.
Yeah, that's right, man. You know, they didn't win all the games in the regular season for nothing. They're a very good team. I think they can give Boston a run for their money. The Warriors did beat the Rockets last night, 109 to 106. Man, you know, Chuck touched on this. He said Green got to take better shot selections. He got to understand that you know, when to score and when to do other things. You agree with that statement, Flowers?
If you've been looking at me for the past few days in that group chat, I'm with Charles on this because I just feel like Jalen Green is holding the team back. I just don't think he's consistent enough. I'm not trying to pick on the guy or anything. He's young, I get that, but we've been watching basketball long enough to, when we see the playoffs happening and we start to see stars become stars in the moment. Um,
Mm-hmm.
for instance, Brunson. Few years ago, just to give you an example, you start seeing people like Kay Cunningham perform. Now, you expect Jalen Green to take the next step, is pretty much what I'm trying to say, and he's not taking that next step. So I feel like he's holding them back.
Yeah, you can tell. Sometimes they looking great on offense. Other times, like they're struggling to find points. Like I said in the chat earlier, they just need a vet guy that like KD that can score those points when they need it down the stretch.
Let me let me
RC,
let me add this real
yeah, go ahead.
fast. Look, I'm in agreement with adding a vet that can give you certified buckets, but what's the point of them giving him $100 million when they're expecting him to take the next step? He hasn't taken that
Mm,
next step, and it's hindering them right now because he's playing what 37 plus minutes, in this series. So they need bona fide points from him.
that's right, and they ain't getting it. RC, what you think the Rockets need in order to give them the home? Cause it seems like they there, but they just can't put it all together.
I hate to say this because I'm tired of him moving from team to team, but maybe Kevin Booker, maybe Bradley Beal, one more veteran to come over there and lead them. They need some veteran leadership, kind of like how the Warriors youth mixed in with a lot of veterans. So good mixture of good veterans and youth together. I mean, because they don't have anybody over there that's on the edge. Okay, he's been through the ring. I mean, Van Fleet is played in the finals, but you need, what I'm saying, star power,
Mhm.
a guy
Mm-hmm.
that can lead them and respect and trust.
Yeah, they can take it over when it matters. So I'll give y'all a quick score update real quick. The Magic is beating the Celtics 19-12. The Pistons are beating the Knicks 59-53. Do y'all think the Pistons make it out of the series, or you think it's a wrap? They just prolonging it.
I was assuming that the Knicks would probably end it tonight. I know that Pistons are up 6. It's been back and forth. I was listening to that also on the way home. I just expect the Knicks to probably close it out. But look, if Detroit can win it tonight, take it back to Detroit. They got a chance to stretch it to 7, but it's still the third quarter. We'll see what the Knicks do. I expect the Knicks to close this out tonight.
Yes, indeed. Uh, RC is a wrap for the Magic tonight. You think the Celtics get done?
Yeah, yeah, most definitely hard. But he's just running into a juggernaut, a team that's poised to repeat. But the Magic will take it the next. I mean, I know we can all agree on Magic back in the playoffs.
I love the Magic.
Yeah, they're a young team. They're gonna figure it out sooner or later. I know RC. I know that you've been paying close attention to the Lakers and Timberwolves. And he been talking a lot of ish. LeBron said he still think he the man, but Ant saying differently. He said he's the man. So the Timberwolves beat the Lakers 116-113. Is it a wrap for the Lakers?
Yeah, And I want once the wrap happens and the baby's in the bed. Ted, what's going on tonight, man? We can't get right.
Hey, it's on
Y'all see
QRT. Like I'm monitoring my stuff, trying to figure out like, oh, is it lagging on my end or what? But when I look in a live feed, it's fine, which is crazy.
Well, basically, what it is, we got to get back used to all over the place. It feels good to be back to be doing it. But like I was saying, LeBron James and the Lakers are they're basically eventual exit. When I saw Ant post, I think that was Bronny and LeBron and some water playing and say they were gonna send them on vacation. I knew what time it was.
Mm-hmm.
You don't confident about what your abilities and what you'll be able to do. And then after this year, I can't wait to make the announcement that they need to give, because this is at least Darvin Ham did make it to the second round. So yeah, I'm just waiting. I mean, as a Laker fan, I'm torn, but I see no difference. I mean, and side note, I'm really tired of watching Luka play basketball for us because he cries too much for me, man. Just get back.
He do. Instead of getting back on defense, he always looking at the ref. Like I seen this one play, I forgot what it was, but they stole the ball from him. He thought he got fouled. He looking at the ref still running down court, and trying to prevent the score. Yeah, he hold his hands out. Right, I'm like, bro, you haul back on defense. Worry about it later after the play. You know what I'm saying? Randy said Lakers will take it to 7, but many taste it. Ooh, that's a bold statement, Randy.
Nah.
When Rudy Gobert is pushing LeBron in the head and saying he's weak, then Timberwolves ain't scared of the Lakers or LeBron.
Well, I guess maybe Randy's talking about his time. Maybe the game ends at 7 o'clock. Because listen, man, ain't no
right
game. So I don't know. Maybe they have different time in Canada where their game ends at 7. Because that's the only way. That's the only. So
look, when we praise JJ Redick, we gotta criticize him because I don't understand how the whole second half you can't find rest for LeBron, Luka, and company. They needed it. They got 3 ball handlers. The Lakers can afford to sit Luka and LeBron down. Austin Reeves can run the show for a couple of minutes. That's a shame that JJ Redick, being a former player, and I'm not trying to kick dirt on him or anything like that. But I have to be honest, he's skeptical of Doc Rivers when he was sitting, at the desk behind First Take. I gotta be skeptical on VOL. You cannot have those guys out there the whole second half and not at least rest them for 8 to 10 minutes. We gotta do better than that. I guess because Jackson Hayes isn't on the floor, you don't trust him. But you have to have him out there, man. Vanderbilt. Who else is on the bench?
Connect didn't even hardly play.
Who's the other guy? Who's the other point guard? I'm having a brain fart. Gabe Vincent.
The Heat, yeah.
Gabe Vincent. Like you have vets on the bench and guys that are capable of fulfilling a couple of minutes, against the Timberwolves. And if I'm not mistaken, when the Lakers up 10 at one point in the third quarter.
Mm-hmm. That's what I just about to point out.
That's the time that you pull those guys out and you rest them, because LeBron was gassed. He's not 28 anymore. He's still great. He's phenomenal. Don't get me wrong, but he has to pick his spots. And when you're in these playoff series, that fourth quarter needs to be a spot where he decides to pick. He shouldn't, fully exert himself defensively, in which he did. Had some great defensive plays the other night, but he didn't have it, on the other end. So, JJ Redick got to do better with those minutes.
Yeah, he kind of shot himself in the foot by gassing them in the first half. Now we don't know how they're gonna come out in the next game. Are they gonna be flat? Are they not gonna have enough energy to compete with the Timberwolves, because they've been staying in the games and everything? So it just haven't been blowouts, but with him doing that, he kind of just used the ball to fuel, especially in LeBron. How's LeBron now? What, 40, 41?
LeBron's 40.
40. Then he played 46 minutes or something like that. Yeah, that's outrageous.
That is outrageous.
That's outrageous. You
Yeah.
can't afford to run a 4-year-old
Yeah.
for 46
And
minutes without giving him rest.
let me add one more thing. Okay, let's say if Randy's right and they take it to 7. Who is that helping? It's not helping the Lakers. They're gonna be tired as HE double hockey sticks. Going into the next series. So you're going to playing 15 games in the past 30 days, if I'm not
Mm-hmm.
mistaken, something like that. In that equation, that doesn't fit good for the Lakers and LeBron.
RC, with the Lakers going, well, I posed the question: is this a failed season for the Lakers, or this is win in your book?
Hey, you still making it to the playoffs with a 40-year-old LeBron James. It's not a. I want to say this. I give LeBron James a lot of flack because um, of a lot of things that he's done wrong there, but he's done a lot of things right in the float. They're relevant. So salute to him from that. He's doing things the average 40-year-old can't do. Professional ranks is very hard. It's a young man's sport, but salute to him. And then now I turn my focus to Luka. Like, will he stay a Laker? If he lose, what's the next move for them? Because he actually is an early exit for him if they lose. So let's see. It's about to get
for sure. It's about to get interesting. Stephon Castle was named Rookie of the Year. Y'all agree with that?
I agree with it. I agree with it. Sure. Very productive year.
I know it too bad Wembley got hurt because I feel like the Spurs they probably could have mustered up a couple of wins to try to get in that last spot.
They probably would have been in the play-in if Wembley did. If Wembley don't get hurt, they probably make the play-in.
Right. I totally agree. All right. Thank you guys for joining us on TikTok. Hey guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Share with your family and friends. We appreciate the support. Shout out to Randy who's in the chat. He's our partner over in Canada. He said, "Yo, Flowers, my Maple Leafs are having a technical difficulties too, bro. Lord help me if they lose tonight."
Help me too because I got on my damn parlay. So they better
too.
They better come correct.
What you got on money line, Flowers?
I got on money line. They at home. Are they
3-1, right?
Come on, 3-1. I'm thinking y'all supposed to close. Come on now. I already had Milwaukee on my ticket. I thought I lost it, but Milwaukee kept it alive. So come on, Toronto, keep it alive for me. I won last night. Let's make it 2 nights in a row.
That's what I'm talking about. All right, man. We're gonna go ahead and move on to some NFL, shall we? But hold on, I do got an interesting question before we move on to the NFL. So the big thing over the internet right now that's trending, they said who will win a fight, 100 guys or one gorilla?
Gorilla, man.
Well, they said 100 guys or one gorilla.
You better have the Expendables. You better have Arnold Schwarzenegger when he was Terminator. You better have some special beings to go up against this silverback gorilla. But if you're talking about regular man like me, RC, and yourself, we stand no chance in HE double hockey sticks, man. That thing will tear us apart.
But look, Kai, they in the quote they didn't say 100 fearless men. They just said 100 men, so they can look like anybody. You know what I'm saying? They can be out of shape. But I was thinking like this: all the gorilla gotta do is just hurt one guy to make an example, and the rest of them gonna run. They're like, I ain't going near that.
I think I read a silverback gorilla can generate 1,800 pounds of force. So imagine a silverback gorilla just swinging his arm and trying to hook someone. He might knock your head off. So I don't think this is a good idea. We're talking about a 400 plus pound animal that a human fist I don't think can. I don't think a human fist can do anything to a silverback gorilla.
Nah, so, man.
Weapons, like just bare hands.
No weapons.
But he'll eat us alive.
They say you got to grab him by the balls or something.
I'm visualizing it, and if I got 100 Braun Strowmans or 100
Mark Henrys. Give me 100 Mark Henrys.
Yeah. So 100 Mark Henrys, but the first Mark Henry that gets shredded to a pulp, all the others stop. So if we having
Mm.
If it's a survival thing and it's 100 men and one gorilla, but you feel like you said, if it's just we trying him, he ain't bothering us, and it ain't life and death with no weapons. On sight, man. Like them things are. And so there's a reason why humans are most of the time use ammunition.
Use
Exactly.
You know,
weapons.
That
it's
That's
always
right.
we talk about a gorilla, but a chimpanzee will rip your face apart. So
Yeah, exactly. We seen
right,
stories like
right.
that's a
this.
chimpanzee. So come on now.
They wild. They wild animals. People crazy. But Randy,
Yeah,
he said one against least record in closeout games. My leads are 1-12. That's not
I
good,
wish
Randy,
I
bro.
wish I would have known that if I placed my bet.
Yeah. Right.
that's crazy.
1-12. Oh
Yeah,
my
that's
goodness,
Look,
man.
that's a viable stat right there. I'd have used that one
That is.
tonight.
Oh my goodness. All right. So the big story over the weekend was Shedeur falling and falling and falling in the draft. And as we saw, that came out a couple days ago that the Falcons think his defense coordinator, his son, prank called Shedeur, acting like they were the Saints and going to draft him. So Shedeur had all this going around on his draft days, and people been trying to figure out, like, man, why is Shedeur falling? Surely he should have went to the Saints. Surely he should have went to the Steelers. But as we saw, those guys pass up on. I think the Steelers took Will Howard. Saints took Tyler Shope. I think that's how you say his name. So there's a lot of controversy going on around this. Flowers, man, I'll let you take a first stab at it. What come to find out too that some owners told teams not to take Shedeur. So that would being said, what happened with Shedeur in the NFL?
To make a long story short, because I can go so many ways with this, but I'm gonna try to sum it up as simple as possible. I just feel like Dion and Shador, they shot the wrong shot at these GMs and owners as far as their approach. I just think Dion mismanaged these kids as far as, you know, giving them information as far as in his mind where their draft stock was. And I just think these owners and GMs had separate ideas and a mindset about it. And I have to be fair when I say this because, I've heard so many things as far as it might be racial, it's collusion, so on and so forth, but you have to look at the facts. And I just think people don't understand what these owners and GMs expect from that position. There's nothing wrong with being flossy, nothing wrong with being confident in your abilities. But I think that these GMs and these owners want to make sure they know what they're investing in and the quarterbacks are fully invested. And if they question it, it's a problem. I can't fault them for that. Now I think that there's been mishaps on both sides because look, that kid is not a fifth round draft pick. We know that. But I don't think I'm confident enough to sit up here and say to you today that the play that they took far as not doing interviews with certain teams because let's be honest, every team didn't need a quarterback. So there's possibilities of other teams looking at him maybe being a backup guy and being a bridge guy and possibly becoming a starter. We have to be honest with ourselves here. You got a national champion and Will Howard that went to the sixth round. So okay, them people saying, okay, well, he just won national championship. Why is he in the sixth round? We can go so many ways with this, but in Shador's case, I just think the tape doesn't lie. I don't think there's nothing wrong with his arm. I think the kid can play, but I just think they look at Shador and they just see entitlement. They feel like, and this is an honest question when I say this, what is he without Dion? This is an honest question. What is he without Dion? He hasn't been without him since high school. So that's an honest question for those GMs and those owners to have. And if he's not carrying himself in a particular manner with in what they think that they should invest a first, second round pick in this kid, what they say what the Giants with Dable, right? They
Mm-hmm.
said they gave him an install. prior to them meeting up again. They asked him about the install. He doesn't know the information. I can't defend it.
Hmm.
I can't defend it. And if that's true, I can see why teams would take him off the board when he's sitting there, doing what Dion did as far as, well, if you're here, I don't want to talk to you because I feel like I'm going to go here. I'm quite sure that they felt like Pittsburgh was a can't miss spot for them in the first round. Pittsburgh passed. Jackson Dart, Giants traded up for him. I hear today, if the Giants don't trade up, the Rams take Jackson Dart. So McVay values Jackson Dart more than Shedeur. A
Oh
lot of these
wow.
guys value Shedeur less than some of these guys. I just think the kids in the NFL now, you got a lot of work to do. It's there for the taking. Cleveland's a spot that he didn't want to go, I guarantee you. Dion said it. You heard Dion come out. He wants to control where his son went. I think that rubbed some people the wrong way. That's why he got taken off draft boards. I just think there's a lot of back and forth on both sides, but the kids in the league, let's see what he does from here because it's all about the work you put in from here on out. Doesn't matter about your popularity. Doesn't matter how many followers you got on Instagram or Twitter. Put your head down, work. I think that position in Cleveland is open. I would love to see him this QB1. I would love to see him 3 years from here to be a max player. I hope all is well with Shedeur, but we have to see him put in the work.
I see your thoughts, man.
So I've been thinking about this for the last couple of days because I'm torn. I'm all think what I've settled on is I remember you probably got a clip of me talking about when Dion made that comment, what was gonna happen. And I go back and look at that clip myself so I could prepare myself for what I was gonna say today because it can't be an emotional thing, it can't be a feelings tied to a thing. It is the NFL has bombed at the quarterback position more times than it got it right.
Mhm.
Brock Purdy was Mr. Irrelevant last year or 2 years ago. The NFC Championship game into a Super Bowl. So that let me know that NFL owners don't know how to evaluate that position. You know all of this personality stuff, all that stuff. The teams that are picking high. Look, Tennessee, it's your third quarterback. What the hell you doing? Cleveland, you got a graveyard full of quarterbacks. You don't know what you're doing. Jacksonville,
Mm.
you don't know what you're doing. It's a long list of don't know. And with this situation, what it did is it exposed the Sanders and then it exposed the NFL. It exposed Dion's part, thinking you got all these connections, you got all these people in your pocket, you can say what you want, you got all this. No, you don't. You fail because you have the standard in how you view this position, so you say, but then you allow all these different things in. And I understand at that position they want new organization, but everybody on this panel know they've had guys with sexual allegations, issues with the law, all kinds of. I've been seeing Chase Daniels, all these people say the talent don't match. So you telling me if he was very, very talented and it was through the roof, you wouldn't have cared about the area.
Mhm.
If he was Cam Newton, you wouldn't have gave a damn about the meat and the inside. And then I can't trust anything that the Giants do because you've shown to be. Because the guy you walked out the door won a Super Bowl. You was on Hard Knocks making public poor decisions. So I can't trust any anonymous articles that was written and put out there. And we're trying to figure out who said what. Stand on what you said. Stand on what he did or didn't do. But the issue with all this is when this was going on, I took issue with people adding to the situation. Everybody on this panel. We all have flaws. We know what Dion's flaws is. We know what Shedeur flaws is. But when you want to know about a weak critic, only point out your flaws. They never said what he do good. He was good enough to be one or two. The one interview derailed that. No, what happened was he came in there and like Flower said, and Daddy put a battery in his back. New York, like, no, you're not doing that. You're not your daddy. Okay? But the crime didn't warrant the punishment. A 5th-round pick, we've never seen this. This guy made history. We've never seen this. We that you and I both know cannot play football. I'm not going to shit on any of them because I was going to do that, but I'm not going to do that because that's not fair. So, but the reality of the situation is we have to honestly ask ourselves, I saw racism. I saw collusion being a little bit too arrogant. I seen a lot of issues with all of it. But in the end, what I ask myself is, why this guy that you want to straighten up and clean up and make an example out of? Why? Why him? You haven't done it. It's unprecedented. You have never done this. All you've done now is, in closing on my part, is now you got people looking at this situation and saying, okay, all right, you're saying he's the standard of college football and we want to put a start to what it's going to be. You're going to see kids staying in college. Okay? Will Howard. I'm drafted in the 6th, 7th round, but you and I both know, Flowers, if you could have put anybody on that Ohio State team and play quarterback, you're going to win a national championship.
I don't disagree.
He was thrown to an athletic freak. I think what Shedeur did was more impressive because he don't lie. But, man, I feel so many different ways about it, man. And I just didn't like people, he's already falling and failing, just adding to it. I saw guys, I'm in a group with guys that were they were happy to see him humble. Dude, that's crazy. Like, dude, like, come on, man, what we doing? But hey, that's neither here nor there. And I'm talking about a group. I'm in another group with 2 ministers who promote grace. And all they talk about is grace. And they're like, good, he need to be humbled. Why we always got to be humbled? Why? He needs to be. Why you ain't humbling Johnny Manziel or Mike Green, who goes to the Baltimore Ravens with 2 sexual assault allegations? I'm just saying, you have all these different things that you're doing, but not bad for going too long.
Nah, you're good. That's what I was trying to do. I was just trying to wrap my mind around, like, why Shedeur? Why is this now? Because, like you said, we seen the Cam Newton, we seen Jameis have his off the field issues. We seen Baker and Johnny Manziel act all crazy. And the only thing I can think of is what Deion. It had to be something with Deion and what they wanted for Shedeur. Like I said, they didn't meet with certain teams. They already came with a list of things, of demands, what they wanted for Shedeur. Like I said, no, we don't want to play in Cleveland. So that's already a demand. So I think the NFL owners, it's crazy. They came together against this one guy to make an example of. And I don't think it was the confidence part. I don't think it's him being arrogant. Go ahead, Flowers.
You can finish up. I was just going to add on to that when you got done.
Oh, I don't think it was the confidence part. I think it was less of they trying to control his destination like the Mannings. Like we saw what Archie did for Eli. And we saw how he got his son. He was in control of his son's destinations, where he told Eli he's not going to play for for the Chargers. So you can forget about that. So I think that when people try to compare the two situations, it's kind of different in sort of way, but it's just strange that they chose Deion's son to say, hey, you're not that good, or you're too arrogant to come up here and make demands when you played at Colorado. It just stunk, man. It just really stunk, because this is the first time I've seen owners collectively say, hey, we're not going to draft this guy. We're going to take Tyler Shue, who's 26 and have 3 season-ending injuries. That's absurd. That is absurd to pick that guy over Sanders. And we can look at people like, well, he played at Colorado. Okay, if you move Sanders to SEC with a good line, who knows what his numbers are going to look like? He played on a bad Colorado team with a bad defense, with a bad O-line. Okay, weapons, not all the world weapons. He had Travis Hunter. But other than that, he was riding the ship under pressure. He was one of the most pressure quarterbacks in college, right?
Yeah,
And he was still able to stay in the pocket and do what you say.
Some of the scouts are proclaiming that he holds on to the ball too long.
To the ball when you're running for your life. What else you gonna do with it?
Right.
I mean, you gonna throw it in the
What
air
you want me to do?
like they got a video of Tyler.
Tyler
They got a
Sharpe.
video of Butchers. He just running through the ball. He just the dude from the
Right.
tackle, he just threw it. I mean, shit, that's crazy.
I don't know.
You watch. Go ahead, bro. My bad.
I wouldn't call racism. I think, like I said, I wouldn't call racism per se, but it feels like it, but it's not quite there. They just hate arrogant quarterbacks. Go ahead.
I don't think that they hate. I don't think that first and foremost. I don't think they hate the kid. Okay. I didn't know Dion was Shedeur's agent. I should have known this, but I didn't know. You get what I'm saying? Saturday it came out that Dion was their agent. So I can see why this went the way it went. That's a problem.
That's a problem.
Because if he has a real agent, the agent is going to talk to the owner, to the GM, get a feel for what's going on. Shedeur didn't throw at his pro day. He didn't throw at the combine. I feel like that Shedeur and Dion played the card of my son is a top 10 pick in this draft. He doesn't have to do anything. Everything speaks for itself. That shouldn't have been the move for him. Travis Hunter could have did that. Okay. He could have did that. Abdul Carter could have did that. We talk about Archie and the Eli Manning situation as far as and back in 2003 when that happened. I remember when that happened. The difference in that, in my opinion, I said this is my opinion. You didn't hear anything about how they felt, about how the Mannings felt until it was known that San Diego had the first pick and the draft was here. Archie actually played it well, in my opinion. He pretty much just came out and said he didn't want his son playing for that organization. But that was the perfect time to do it because you had Phillip Rivers and you had Ben Roethlisberger in that draft. So the Chargers, they draft Eli. The Giants take Phillip Rivers 4, they swap them. That's not going to happen every time. You know, you try to play. If you try to play that way with it, that was just ideal. They was actually fortunate, you know, that happened. So if that doesn't happen, maybe Eli goes back to school. If they really didn't want to go to San Diego, but the stars, in my opinion, aligned, and they had. What's my favorite L word? RC leverage. They had leverage. Shedeur didn't have leverage. Plain and simple. The way they tried to play it, he didn't have the leverage to do it. That's just the way I see it. That's just the way I see it.
Yeah, I repeated itself multiple times. I saw where Bo Jackson did this, John Elway did this, Archie Manning. But here's the comparison. Doing it. It wasn't going to be no backlash. The Giants fans, the San Diego Charger fans booed Archie. But it was a time where social media wasn't around, so it wouldn't. You're not going to get the same energy. I think I'm going to retract the statement. Racism don't always have to be black and white. But when you treat a person a certain way because you dislike or hate, that's racism. Okay? Issue with this man is you treated him differently in a league that don't really value character. The stuff that you say you stand for. You're lying. You're a hypocrite. And so that's my issue with it. You're a freaking hypocrite. You lying. You got murderers.
I agree.
You can't. This is where Dion messed up. You thought you were LeBron James. What LeBron James does in the NBA, if he tried it in the NFL, it wouldn't work.
Yep.
Okay. His son wouldn't be on his team. We saw it with Colin Kaepernick. I seen somebody, well, it's the same as Colin Kaepernick. It's Colin Kaepernick situation is worse because it was we can do nothing about it because they know we love football. And so you're not going to start watching football for Colin Kaepernick. But he did nothing wrong. Shedeur did no on and off the field issues, no nothing. Even though his dad is a bad agent and can be an asshole and all this, it still didn't warrant, because here it is. I think to me though, what it did, it made me realize, hey man, the NFL they really don't know what they do when it comes to evaluating quarterbacks. I mean, you can't keep Magic and Brock Purdy's and Kurt Warner's and Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson failed. I put this in another group and they said I was wrong. The play style, dual threat. And
They
now
still
it's
take a chance
suspended.
on him.
But wait, he failed because of a play style. It's the way he plays the standard. Tell me if it ain't the standard when you look across the NFL and see everybody can get out of the
Wants the
body.
next Lamar. Yeah, they want the next Lamar.
Yeah. I think that's why the
failed and
Saints
lost money.
I think that's why people fell in love with Jackson Dart. Because Jackson Dart, to be honest, hadn't really done much in Ole Miss. I mean, they always faltered when in the big games for Ole Miss. So but what Jackson Dart can do, he got a big arm and he can run that thing.
Look,
So
I wish I had a time machine. I wish I had a time machine to when I wrote in the chat that Jackson Dart was going to be taken before Shedeur. I should have went and bet that.
Dang.
But
you should have pinned it.
I'm glad you brought that up. You was spot on. But because what you're saying is, okay, and I say this about Dylan Gabriel. You're saying that 1 year, all the body of work of Shedeur means nothing. I just got to be good 1 year. Now, if you take Shedeur and put him in Ole Miss, he threw for 4,000 yards and like 10 turnovers with a bad offensive line. If he come to Michigan, we're going to make the playoffs. Because he's accurate. My thing is, you just look at the play. Jackson Dart was on nobody's draft board until this bull crap came out. And these guys I know. I said, y'all keep giving me the anonymous quotes. And then you want to marginalize this play. He's not really that good. But the NFL owners who standing for quarterback said he was 1 or 2. So which one is it? I mean, because dude, let me tell you something.
They moving the goalposts.
He could be well spoken. Yeah, he can be humble, well spoken, have an agent. But if somebody don't really like, we're gonna have an issue, bro. We're gonna have an issue. But I do not believe in my heart that Deion, his hands is just perfect. He learned a very valuable lesson. You don't run nobody but you. Okay? And if they can't get you, when they can't get you, they'll come for your kids. And that's what they did.
Right. What they always say, nobody's above the shield. That's all you hear.
That's pretty much what happened right there. Yep, that's pretty much what happened.
Nobody's above the shield. Hey, but it's kind of funny. They found an old tweet of Deion, and I think it was 2023 or 22, and he said Shedeur would not be playing for the Browns. And here we are.
But
I think they did that for a reason.
This how I know.
I did that for a reason. They sent him to Cleveland for a reason.
WWE, bro.
Yeah, it's written up. But like, so the team he didn't want to go to, that's where he ended up.
I'm gonna be honest.
They call his bluff.
That's pretty much what happened. Because after he went past the 3rd round, I honestly got to looking at my team like, y'all maybe should start looking at this kid. Because there's no way in the world this kid should have been past the 3rd round at least. I understand him falling out the 1st round, but definitely second. He should have been a 2nd round guy.
But watch this, man. I'm laying in the bed. I see Shedeur picture before it even get broadcast on ESPN because they go on the commercial break and they accidentally put his picture up. I tell my wife, I say, did you see Shedeur's picture was up? So you can go to the Browns. They positioning cameras. This is a 5th round pick. They already knew what the deal was. It's more WWE than I know. I'm not saying they're going out there throwing games, but some phone calls were made. I don't believe all 32 teams was in the bed together saying we not believe that was those bad teams at the top. We know who they are. They always up there. Them was the ones. And Pittsburgh, Mike Thomas, Mike Tomlin.
Shame on you, Mike.
I'm in the mindset of, as a people, we need to learn. We do need to help one another, because when other race of people are in position, they help one another, not bail you out of harm's way. I'm gonna take you here, and I'm gonna let you know, because the best way you can help me is, hey, because we all look in mirrors when you get away yourself. So maybe from one black man to another, look in that mirror and look down Dion and Shedeur and say, hey, y'all got to move different. Y'all got to tone it down a little bit. Hey, also, I saw Shedeur change his whole energy. I don't want to rap no more.
Good.
I don't want to rap no more.
Let me add to what you just said.
Yeah, bro.
Let me add to what you just said real quick. I had, because my boss, we were talking about this earlier, and I had to make the point to him that once Shedeur steps into that Cleveland Brown locker room, or whatever locker room it would have been, the whole perception of him being arrogant and everything, that's gone, because you're walking into a locker room full of grown men with families, with kids. They're trying to pay the bills. They're trying to, make money. They're trying to stay relevant. So that aspect of him being this and that would have been washed away in the locker room. And he would have had, of course, he's going to have to prove himself, of course. And he has a clean slate. So
let me ask you this, bro. Our favorite players and athletes that we admire outside of Barry Sanders, we're going to take Barry Sanders. All them jokers is arrogant to a fault.
Yeah. But you have to prove yourself.
Yeah,
What I'm saying, you have to prove yourself.
But
yeah, that's what, as we saw the same thing happen with
when he said,
oh, I'm about to say we saw the same thing happen with Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams had an arrogance to him. And when he got into the Bears locker room, and when he got into the Bears locker room, he found out real quick, I can't come like I've been coming in college.
Was what Shedeur said was, if you want to win, don't draft me. Okay, let me think about that. He shouldn't have said it, but it's the truth.
That don't bother me though. That don't bother me.
Yeah, don't.
That to me, man, if a defensive player say that, you ain't bothered by that. But it's the daddy who always have the camera in his face. It's the daddy who always quoting the Lord. It's the dad. I love Prime. I love Dion. Prime aggravates me sometimes, but this did not warrant punishment. We are human beings. We are not God. But that is football league. You can do whatever the hell you want to. But with this, you got blood on your hands, because you let what's the kid that played for the accident and played anyway. You hadn't suspended him. What's his name? Rice, the Rice kid. If he not got injured,
Rice,
then that was the only time he was out. In the car accident, walks away from it, and you still allowed him to play. You moving the goalpost. You saying because of what? Then I could give you where you letting people play and overlooking it because they're exceptionally talented. I heard people like this. Is what pissed me off too. Chris, Marcus Spears. Oh man, Shedeur's not really that good. Who the hell in this draft just really good? Ward. Cam Ward, if he don't go to Miami, he don't get drafted number one. Okay. At Washington State, he was not going to get drafted number one. Cam Ward until he went to Miami. But it's very unfair. And then to compare Cam Ward to him, Cam Ward is more. You don't know these people. I know people who put on good fronts, and you may have them crossed up. But I tell you what you're going to do now. You're going to be in Cleveland. I don't think at the road to playing as a starter, it's going to be incredibly tough. He's a fifth rounder with a room full of 5 quarterbacks. How do I practice and play? Wherever he is or whatever he do, a lesson was learned by all parties. And it ain't over.
Yeah. It just left a bad taste in my mouth. Man, this is my first time I really been upset at the Saints. Because Shedeur have a clean slate, man. He never got in trouble. He's a good kid. As you saw, he always thanking God. He said, man, God is going to God tested me. It's just a test, don't get through it. So that, like, why wouldn't you want that in your locker room? Instead of Derek Carr throwing people underneath the bus, and he probably be a Christian man too, but he taking shots at his offensive line and Olave. So it's just like, y'all make excuses for some of these guys, but if they don't walk the line, then y'all don't want them. Y'all don't throw them away, or y'all gonna make an example of them. It's just very frustrating.
Religion don't define a person's character. It's what they do once they get off their knees from praying. Once they, because you can quote all the scriptures you want. You can do all the stuff when you're in the lead there. And so how you treat people, how you serve one another, that was my biggest issue with it. It's a kid, man. We acting like why everybody need to be humble. It's a kid. We was that age at one time. He gonna get it. I'm with, drop. Then the prank calls. He wasn't the only one.
Yeah,
but that's freaking cruel, man. Like y'all done lost y'all mind, man. Y'all tried to break that boy, and
they try to break him, but that's somebody else that's kind of broken right now.
He cried. He broke. He cried. He broke.
Yeah, that would hurt me, man. Like, I was hurting for him, bro. Like, I'm not just a huge Shedeur fan, but I wanted him to go to the Saints and just bring the organization back up. But NFL had other plans. But there's another person that going through some stuff. His name is Sharpe. I have video, not from his past stream, but the stream after that, of him reading the comments. Like, man, they were going in on him. They ain't show the comments, but you can tell that he was like locked in. Here's a video, if it plays. Can y'all see that? Oh, there we go. Yeah, he got caught up in the comments. Flowers, your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I ain't gonna get on here and join the legion of bashing Shannon Sharpe. I'm gonna take this another way. I'm disappointed in Shannon because a lot of the stuff that he was preaching and getting on the people about, it's rearing its ugly head with him right now, and it's unfortunate. Like, look, what he's doing with this young lady, that's between two consenting adults. I don't want to get into details of what's this and that and everything else. All I can really just say is I hope he figures it out, and it's unfortunate because it's his second, I guess, sexual scandal, if you want to call it, within the past year. And I just thought that Shannon Sharpe was smarter, more calculated, and I remember when the first thing last year when the recording came out a few days prior, he was hounding Chad Johnson about being on time and talking about work and setting the right example. And Shannon Sharpe, this isn't a great example, that you're setting. Like I said, I just hope you figure it out, and you can see it in his face in that video that you can see when someone's worried, So being worried, that can lead to multiple things. So I wish him well, but hopefully he gets it figured out, and all I can do is just wish the best of luck to him.
All right, I see your thoughts, man.
Hey, can y'all hear me? Because I had to change my headphones. Them AirPods be a little tricky. So here's the humbling. Here's who needs the humbling right here. Okay, 2014, you had it. You had an altercation. Then you have the video where, I think you released it. I may not been missed out. I've been on Facebook Live, TikTok Live,
Instagram. There's no way you didn't put that out there. Like, yeah, I don't know how your phone just magically turns it on, and then you have this incident. When I think when Shannon sat down with Cat Williams, and Cat Williams said a lot of people are going to be exposed, he didn't realize he was talking about him as well. You know, when you sit down with devils, man, the devilish stuff start happening. You're when you gossip about people, you got to be mindful that people may start digging into your past. And he did a lot of gossiping. He did a lot of laughing at the people, and he made a lot of money. He became a richer man by the gossip, and so now it's his turn. The tables have turned, and so my issue with it is I'm like Flowers. I see the man falling. I'm not gonna pull the parachute. I'm not gonna move the landing spot. So I'm not gonna pile on. But it's a lesson in it for all of us. Especially us now in media. When you do this and you critique and you whatever, you got to remember you are a flawed person. You have vices. You have things. We all are working. We all fall short. But I think if you're gonna speak greatness, you got to be able to live it. And so when I see that picture of him looking at that, and doing what he does, because I think he's a lover of money and women. That's his vice. When you hear him in his media, in his interviews, he always talking about money and he always bragging about what he do to women. But I hope this is the final straw. This is the last step. He's 57 years old. I hope he gets it before he be behind bars. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
The critiquing of him, I think Shannon tried to publicly have a sexual exhibition to prove his sexuality. Before he sits down with Cat Williams, you never hear a thing about him being gay or anything. He was and then they tighten up that microscope and they start looking into his life and paying attention how he walk and talk, and then he became what he once laughed at. So, in closing, man, I just feel like it's a lesson learned. I hope he learns the lesson, and I hope he treats Ocho a little bit better because he treats Ocho like he's a kid. Like he treats Ocho like Skip used to treat him. How about that?
That's a
So
bar. That's a bar.
Yeah, he does, man. The way he be going on Ocho at live, I'm like, dang, bro, you dragging him on live in front of everybody?
yeah,
All right.
unprofessional, and no, y'all, your grump. I said this to Flowers. I think I might have said this to Flowers and my mom. I think that Sterling, everything that
Oh
Shannon
yeah.
talks about, his grandma said. I think
Mhm.
Shannon he can say it, but I think Sterling can live it. See, Shannon
Mm.
can repeat everything grandma and grandpa said, but Sterling applies it. They night and day. So that maybe you
They
need to
are.
start applying what your grandma said, Shannon.
Yeah, because as we seen in history, lusts have destroyed kingdoms, ruined
For sure.
marriage, ruined friendship. No, it's a killer. And Shannon, he talks about it, but it's one thing, like you said, to talk about it, to actually live what you say. And when you don't live what you say, that's what happens. You get caught up because when you know better, you do better. And clearly, he thought he knew better, but clearly he don't. And so it pains me to see that after all after being in sports his whole life that he'll see the lesson in going after these type of situations or of getting caught up and apply it to his life that way that he can rise above it. But as you say, lust is in the eyes, man. It comes with the fall.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, it happened to him. Hopefully, he can bounce back. And I don't know if it's gonna be it for him at ESPN. I guess it all depends on how the
I
lawsuit goes.
I
Because
think it's
Stephen
it, man.
A.
I
Really,
think that's
Stephen
it,
A.
bro.
I didn't listen to what Stephen had to say, but people saying that he didn't hold back on him. Did y'all listen to the Stephen A. recordings?
I somewhat, but I don't see where people saying like where Stephen A. supposedly crucified him. I mean, Stephen
Right.
A. just pretty
Okay.
much said, I know Shannon, and like I say, what's going on, but I mean, I really can't tell you. I think Stephen A. really just tried to steer clear, but he did make the point of he has bosses at ESPN, and there's nothing he could have done about it, and that's pretty much. I think that's what people were at more for him saying because I mean, it's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
Why do we as a people feel like, I'm speaking to my people, when you did the crime? Why should I save you from a crime? If you my best friend, we're close friends or buddies or every now and then associates, and you commit a crime. I'm not going to help them ruin your reputation, but I'm not finna fabricate and lie and stand with you in wrong. Hey, bro, you're the loudest in the room. You got to be just as loud or as being apologetic. Like he could have handled. Stephen ain't got to stand in the line and on the gap for you, bro.
I mean, he vouched to get you the job. He did enough.
I wonder what Skip didn't say anything from what I saw. So that's
okay. Yeah, Skip.
but see, now it makes me think to myself, with all the incidents that they had on that show. See, a man don't act that way unless he don't respect you. There's something about you that he'll see in your life, and he's like, I could try you because I don't respect that. Until they able to respect you or see you in a way, and so maybe Skip seen him at his weakness. He knew that was his weakness. And so, I don't know if y'all see it like this, man, but a lot of people take shots at Stephen A for being honest. In our community, we don't like accountability.
Nope, not at all.
Even with the Shedeur Sanders thing, that's why I had to really think it out. Dion, he said it. Take my kids off the cross and put me on there. You're admitting guilt when you say that. If you didn't do anything wrong, there is no putting nobody on the cross. Like, hey, bro, y'all wronging my kid. That man said, take my kids off the cross, Lord, and put me up there, not my kids. Because I'm steering this thing. So, hey, I can't sit up here and stand up and vouch for R. Kelly. Why would I do that?
Right.
He not R. Kelly, but I'm saying if R. Kelly was my friend,
I know what you're saying.
Free R. Kelly.
You remember that video? Do y'all remember that video we watched of Giving Readings talking about the woman they go after because they know their role and stuff? So do that kind of like apply to? Do it make kind of sense? Do it still make sense and don't make sense? Because because we always hear how these guys, they're millionaires, right? So they supposed to go after high value women. Is that y'all think that's a lie? Because
we're all married.
We're
all married. If you got a divorce today, you're in a dating pool. You're either gonna date up, that's older than you, or you're gonna date down, that's younger than you. Okay. The last time you dated, it's changed. Most of the people your age are with somebody else, or they in the same conundrum or problem, having the same problem you having, trouble trying to find someone around their age. Now watch this. The girl was 19 when he met her. He went on OnlyFans. He ain't thinking about nothing but sex with this girl. Yep. You dig what I'm saying? So trouble. Anytime you're just thinking about sex with a person, trouble. Because when the swelling go down and you got to wake up the next morning with that person, reality is somebody going to be feeling some type of way about something. So I feel like, to me, man, he sought her out. He sought her out because he's a situation he can overpower this person and control. So he thought.
So that's what made me think about, these high value men. Because we saw, I forgot the dude that died. He always talk about high value men going after high value women. But it seemed like that's not the case. Yeah, it seemed like that's not the case, though. It seemed like they just trying to have fun and they end up getting caught up by lowering their standards by still going into that pool. That's why Gil Arenas was saying we go after the girls because they understand their role, they understand the environment, and they're not gonna put me out there for doing this or that.
Dude, you got free will. You got free will. You got free will. You can't control what another person's gonna do and think. They might be with you today, but tomorrow, women are different, men are different. Where I could have a connection. I could be cool with the thing we have scheduled and say we're gonna meet every now and then. And then the more you be with this person soul tied, now you got feelings, and it switches overnight. So, you could tell that the way they were talking on the phone like high school sweethearts. So
that's crazy. Like you said, like we was talking to group chat, a 19-year-old and a 56-year-old don't have nothing in common. so you messed up right there. God, they immature at 19. come on now. They only looking for money, man. They looking for a good time and money. They look for you to do everything for them at 19. That daddy role, pretty much.
Sugar daddy, yeah, he's sugar daddy.
Yeah.
But
and once he tried to end it, I think he tried to end it. You know, with the Michelle thing, and she got jealous of it.
That's a different story. That's a different story. I don't want to even touch on here because he, from my understanding, he's known Michelle for over 20 years. So
yeah, and so that's my thing. When Kevin Samuels talk about high value men and high value, that's bull crap.
yep, very much.
You know, my money and my position, I can appear to be high value and have no morals and no standards and no nothing. If you're gonna measure me by what I have and where I made it at that time, that don't mean I'm a good person and I'll treat you like you want to be treated. I think what this boils down to is Shannon Sharpe prefers a certain type of woman, and it's out there now. And he tried to deny it, but it's out there. I think going forward, because Bill Belichick prefers a certain type of woman. You dig what I'm saying? Like that's starting to be a little bit more exposed. But it's shining a light that in Hollywood and in the entertainment industry and in sports entertainment, these people think they're totally different than we do. They living in a whole different society.
That's why I
Eat,
couldn't wrap my
sleep,
mind around it.
breathe.
Like I'm trying to think about this, how I break it down. Like this ain't making sense to me. Like it's just not making sense.
It's nothing, anything that they do makes sense as far as Hollywood and stuff like that. That stuff they do that making kind of sense.
But I'm gonna tell both of y'all though, and myself included, in your relationship that you in now, continue to date your significant other, figure things out, love on each other. Because if you enter back in that dating world, in that dating pool, you either gonna have your older woman or a younger woman. You're not gonna find whatever age you are, because that's how the world is set up now. And people say what they won't do. I'll never do that. You know, Bill Belichick, what are you doing? But hey, man, love comes in a lot of different forms and fashions. You know, I don't believe in dating anybody underage, but when I see these people dating 22, 23, 24, and 26, and they 57.
Yeah,
man, who gonna date? Who the hell gonna date Bill Belichick? You know, like he got to pay for it. You know,
you know she love him. What you mean?
Bill
love him dearly.
Bill standing up there at the podium talking, she over there hiding. I'm like, this is an arrangement that's weird in itself. Like,
I'm glad you brought this up.
The interview?
Yes.
I'm glad y'all brought this up, because think about what you just said, and let's go back to the NFL for a second. Nobody is bigger than the Shield. I wonder if the NFL have hints of this, and this is why he's not in the NFL.
Hey, the NFL has hints of. See, that's why I say sometimes I bring in race. Tucker, Deshaun got drugged.
Yep.
Tucker, he getting drugged, but his rope came loose from the truck. He kind of rolled over in the grass. Robert Kraft did the same thing.
Hey, got burned.
Okay, but that's my thing. Yep. That's why people want to throw race, and I hate race. I feel like sometimes we could be more racist, our own people towards one another, but that's another story. But my thing is, it gives a little bit different outlook. Because you're right, Belichick just all of a sudden went back to college in North Carolina. Come on, man.
Yeah, and he's out. Like, this girl is at the practices. She's everywhere with him. This would not be going on in the NFL.
Y'all seen that statement where UNC having concerns of it might affect Belichick, you know, how he operates.
Did you see her hide it when they was having the interview? And she was like, we're not going to answer those questions. Because they wanted to know
talk about that.
When they start dating, they wanted to know. Listen, it don't matter. Belichick is 700 years old. I don't give a damn y'all started dating when she was he way older than her, right? Way. But this is the problem I have. It's the media coverage, the way they cover certain people they revere. If they like you, if you're talented, if you follow suit, you will not get the same treatment of someone who try to operate and move under their own accord and beat at their own drum.
I will be honest.
They
now,
hate that.
Now, the sports world, like when I'm listening to Sirius XM, they're asking questions and talking about how disgusting it is with Bill Belichick. I do have to give credit to what credit's due, because fans are pointing this out, and now, like you're saying, bigger heads are starting to talk about
I'm
it.
gonna give you another one and tell me if my girl that what's the girl that, let's just use, I don't know, just any sister covering sports.
Mhm.
And they do Joy's mixed breed is a mixed breed girl, but she's in that world. They did a clean wipe of Joy Taylor. You don't even know what, you ain't heard nothing else about nothing.
Sure not happen.
Mm-hmm. I
Because
try to hire Joe Taylor.
but this is the thing about Joy. This is the thing about Joy Taylor. It's like she's in that world. She probably got a lot of knowledge of stuff too that she could put back out there. And so, but she ain't very loud. She's loud, but she know how to ring herself in.
Right.
She's a beautiful woman, so they kind of like don't get her the pass. Bro, if you looked at Deion Sanders, okay, you take money off Deion Sanders, bro. Deion, it just ain't the God's gift to no women. And then my thing is, if they like you, if you look a certain way and you fit a certain thing, then they'll take it easy on you. And so even with Skip, when Skip did that to Shannon, that blew over quick.
Yeah, he fell back on his feet quick, in my opinion. I say he got another show. He's probably blossoming right now more.
Dude, listen, y'all, I hate to say this. I want to see the brother do well in life. This is the end of Shannon Sharpe.
I think so too.
He can't even sit on the pod and he don't even look like himself no more. He kind of like, it's a life.
Weighing on him. It's weighing on. You can tell it's on his mind 24/7. Yeah, it'll be on my mind too. If I got caught up in a scandal, it'll be on my mind 24/7.
That's why I
don't know how you do nightcap. I just don't. Ocho must really bring it out of him, but I don't know how you can get up.
Trying to hold on to it, man.
That's why I do everything I do is strategic. I understand everything I'm saying. I know what I'm putting out there on social media. I understand. I got to move a certain way. I actually told a kid that I mentor, I'm not just doing this for you. I'm doing this for my family. I'm doing this for myself. I'm walking this path, not to be perfect, but because a lot of people depending on me to do the right thing. And that's a burden, dude. I'm trying to tell you. Sometimes we have an effort moment too, like, man, y'all outside, here I come. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you got to keep it in the road, man. Like somebody got to be the example.
It's hard, when you got all eyes on you, and that's what's kind of crazy. That's why I talking to the kids at Sunday school about. I talk to teenagers. I'm like, man, you never know, but people always looking at you. They always looking at your life, either on social media or outside of social media. Somebody always looking at you. Don't get it twisted. Somebody keeping notes on what you're doing, and once you do something wrong, they put out the notes. Oh yeah, you did this and this and that. You said this and this and that.
Yeah,
and that's why you gotta be careful on what you do.
You never know who's watching.
What I do know this, it's gonna always be people you know. It's never gonna be some stranger. It's gonna be people you know. And the one thing I'm guilty of even myself, I've been guilty of this. Whenever, and I wish I could go back and redo some of the shows I did and how my outlook on certain things. But I think everything happens for a reason. Now I can think from a better place and better spot. We got to be careful. Okay? As human beings, we need to learn a better way of showing empathy and giving folks grace. Because one day we might need it. See, people can lie on you too now.
Most definitely.
And then you got people that already don't like you. They're gonna already listen. They've been waiting on this lie all their life. What? RC stole from the gas station? This is what we need. I'm talking about. You seen Kermit the Frog? I mean, we've been waiting on it. But if you're waiting on me, you're gonna have to wait. And if you're bold enough to come for me, I'm gonna be bold enough to fight for my name. I'm talking about bold. I ain't sitting on Shannon Sharpe. You taking that shit too? I'm gonna be on. Yes, I was messing with her. I was on the floor, crawling around on the floor. I got all the audio and tape. I am innocent. I'm putting all of it out there.
But you know what though? See, that's the difference though. If he was that and not betraying himself to be, pretty
righteous,
righteous element that's trying to steer us on the righteous path, it'd be a different story.
Yeah, but let me tell you this: as if you think about this man, who admits guilt? Who just openly admits? You got to get caught. Yeah. It's very rare that a person.
That's on time.
I'm gonna tell you
It's
one
on
person I know
time.
they do that. My daughter will do that. One time, my daughter was in the just make the story quick in the 8th or 9th grade. She came on. She called me Papa. Papa, I went to the office today. I said, for what? I was bullying kids. What? Who the hell tell on themselves? Like
Right.
I'm thinking in my mind, this fool is trolling me. Like I'm looking at her like I'm waiting on it to kind of tail off and be like, gotcha.
Mhm.
No, she stood on business. Yep, I was up there and I was bullying her, and she just sat there and just looked at me. I didn't even know how to discipline her. I'm like,
Yeah.
you told the truth. I
She
don't
was
even know.
honest. Yep. You can't do nothing. She told the truth.
Very rare,
And like you
man,
said, that's rare. The only way somebody confess if they get caught.
for sure.
So Shannon never was caught,
You
and
still
We're trying to pay
crying.
$10 million
Deshaun
for the
Watson or
details not to
Deshaun
come out.
Watson. Yeah. So that's man. I don't say I feel bad. I feel disappointed.
Feel bad for him,
Kinda.
dude. I feel bad for
Yeah,
him
feel
because
bad for him. Like you don't want to go through. You know, you're going through. You know, losing possibly your livelihood. You're making great money with ESPN. You gotta understand, ESPN owned by Disney. They fired Paul Pierce for having a woman in a bikini and a live Instagram feed around him.
but dude,
That's it.
they keep
It's
Pat
crazy
McAfee.
they but
Go
that's
ahead,
what
my
I'm saying.
bad.
But they crazy. They talk about image, but they put out things. They co-sign a certain things. But when somebody else does it, oh, it's a problem.
Pat
It's
McAfee
kind
say
of
whatever he do and say whatever the hell he want.
yeah.
That's true.
So
But
it's
here's a message.
Mhm.
When you know you got to move different, move different. It ain't that hard.
Yes.
Right,
And look,
that's it.
I'm quite sure. Like, I'm not trying to wish anything on Pat McAfee, but if he did the same thing as Shannon Sharpe, he'd be out at ESPN also.
Hey,
He would.
I'm gonna
It's a
tell you.
matter of time. It's a
Maybe
matter of time.
Jewish people don't care nothing about none of that. Jewish people, hey, what you whoever I think Jewish people may own it. Jewish people, other race of people don't operate the way we operate. Black and white people, we act like we the only people on planet Earth. No, it's other people out here who have money, who have
Mhm.
a way they look at stuff, and if you don't operate a certain way, you got to hit that door. And
Yeah.
Shannon Sharpe, I think he done, man. I really do.
I really do too, man. Because this pretty much was his second. Because we don't even think about when he was on NFL the NFL
CBS.
show CBS. We don't even think about
CBS.
that.
Mhm.
And you can pretty much say this was pretty much his second redemption. Or even, I mean, he had the show with Skip, so he landed off his feet from that. But not too many people can say that.
You can't.
Yeah, especially at
I'm
that
gonna tell you
position.
something about the God stuff. When you play with God, or you always saying God's name, the real one to show up. Like, hey man, I've been trying to lead you. I've been trying to let you figure this out on your own, but you keep putting me in front of all this. I'm not co-signing any of this stuff you're doing, bro. You keep, and this is what it looked like when a God moved back and let people have their way with you. Because I think what he need to do now is take a break from it. Go away for a little bit.
Go away for a little while. It's best.
You ain't getting $100 million. No, that's gone. That's over.
So man, it's been a wild 3 weeks, man. 3 weeks in sports. You see what happened when there's no football? It just scandals and stories be coming out like crazy. And I can't wait for the NFL season. I can't say I'm excited about my Saints. Even though we did do well in the draft per se, I just wish that we took quarterback. Who knows? We might take another one next year.
Look.
All right. What you say?
I'm gonna say if you want me to send over the waiver or team transfer to you, I would be more than welcome.
Hey, me and Tyler thinking about it.
Go to
Poor Tyler. He screamed in the car, man. All right, hey, so RC, your guy, man, he just got paid.
Yeah.
I don't see how much it was, man. 49ers.
70 million. 70 million.
76.4 4-year deal. You love it or hate it?
Best tight end in football. Going to finish a Niner.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know where they get the money from, but they got it. They must have borrowed from whoever they borrowed from out there. But they must have got a title loan or something. But they paid it. I love Kittles, man. Saw him in the building. I'm like, hey, I like what they're doing over there right now.
I see what y'all
Well,
doing too, RC. I see what y'all doing. If
Hey,
Bosa and company get too expensive, they're gonna move off of them. That's why they're bringing all these defensive linemen in,
hey.
getting them starting to develop.
getting younger.
I see what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, RC, how much you think Brock should get paid? Kyle Wood, we saw they sent him one contract. It was gonna make him the top paid, think 13th or 12th quarterback in the league,
Mm-hmm.
and they say no. So how much you think Brock should get paid? Top 10, top 5?
So every time the Niners do a contract with a superstar, the player end up by number the top in the league, and then somebody will come exceed it. Brock will get $50 million, but listen, man, he'll be restructuring the deal in 2 years. The 49ers always do that. It'll look like he's gonna get paid a lot of money. The signing bonus will be where it needs to be. I'm not worried about it. I feel like for me, Brock, I ain't got no quarrels with him. But you came from the absolute mud, so and then you actually say the 49ers because they would have been known, they would have went down in history as, like I said, NFL coaches cannot evaluate quarterbacks, save life. Poe Trey Lance is on his third team. So, he saved them. So what do you pay a guy who saved your ass?
That's a good question.
I mean, he saved you, bro.
What do you think of the idea of bringing in Matt Jones?
That's
the guy they wanted in the draft, so they brought in Matt Jones.
I said this a few weeks ago when he signed. If they draft Mac Jones in the beginning, you never hear Brock Purdy. And Mac Jones still go to the Super Bowl because Mac Jones bigger. He's got a stronger arm. If Brock Purdy can't get hurt, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going out on a limb and says right now, he better not lay on the ground long. Because that guy gonna come off the bench and he fits with that offense. That's what Kyle wanted. So Brock, hey, listen, get your money, sign it fast, blow it, make sure it's dry. Because if your ass step wrong, if you do a green law and something pop, the last time y'all hear from him, because he got a guy behind him that can play football. So I'm looking forward to it.
It's kind of like not poetic justice, but irony. That's the guy that's who they wanted. They take Trey Lance and they're like, oh, he's washed. Then they go out and get Matt Jones. They bring him in. So yeah, I agree. Brock Purdy better play right, but not get injured, because he get injured for a long period of time. It might be like a Drew Brees and Tom Brady type deal.
It's gonna
Matt Jones gonna come right in.
Garoppolo, Trey Lance, Garoppolo, Purdy. You see what I'm doing? My hand is going off the screen. That's
in line.
Quarterbacks don't last in San Francisco, bro. I don't know what that is about.
So Giants legend Lawrence Taylor denied a dual Carter request to wear his retired number 56. He said, go make your own number.
I respect it.
That's my guy.
I'm with it, but I'm with it because I wouldn't want to wear it. I wouldn't want to wear that number. That number, some numbers you just don't need to wear on certain teams. They're just plain and simple. Like, you're not going to outdo the work Lawrence Taylor did in that jersey.
Lord.
Yeah, like, why would you want to wear another man's number that's already in the Raptors? Go make your name for yourself. I know it's almost like the Michael Irvin type thing. Is pass down 88s to the next and up and coming
That's
receiver.
A tradition.
Yeah. But Lawrence Taylor, Lawrence Taylor's about himself, so that's kind of crazy that he thought he gonna say yeah to him. So I saw something interesting. What's going? What?
When I see, all I can visualize seeing 56 in the motorcycle stand. Abdul Carter. Nah, brother. Nah.
They say he's supposed to be the next Michael Parsons. I guess we'll see.
I guess that means he won't show up in big games. I
know, right?
Hey, that means he's gonna start a podcast. He's gonna be at the law.
That too.
He's gonna be jumping.
But did y'all see the picture of Abdul Carter, his mama and his dad? It's the hoodest, gangsters, hardest picture ever. Daddy pointing his finger like this. They got on all black. It's like, don't mess with them people right there. They look like they're on a mission. He looked like he ready to go.
That's right. And also in other news, Gabe Taylor, Sean Taylor's younger brother, signed with the Commanders, and he want to
Okay.
wear his brother's number. Y'all think Commanders gonna let him?
I would be cool with that exception. I'd be cool with that. He has to make the team though. He makes
Yeah,
the team. He can wear his brother's number. I think that's fair.
yeah, I think that's fair too.
I,
Especially what
I,
Sean Taylor meant to the Washington.
I just wish he would have went to another team, man. I get it. You want to honor your brother and pay homage. It's just too much, man. Now, if you don't make the team, you're gonna feel some type of way. You're gonna feel like you let him down or something. Make your own way, bro. But
I
hey,
can see that. I can see that putting all that pressure on him. I can see that.
because I'm gonna be honest,
Uh,
until you just mentioned his name, I didn't know he had a brother playing in college football.
yeah, I didn't know either till I saw the article. I forgot what I was reading in
Must
that.
sign as an
I was like, huh?
undrafted free agent. Yeah.
Yeah, he signs an undrafted. He didn't go draft. I think he played at what team was that? It wasn't Connecticut.
Rice.
Okay.
Rice. That's what it was. Yeah.
I respect the Commanders organization for giving them a chance.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
And I commend the Panthers going ahead and get Musa Muhammad's son.
Yes.
I thought that was pretty cool. I'm like, dang, to get him a shot.
Oops. Put that thing between them legs. First down.
Man, Musa Muhammad just give us fits, bro.
Great player, man.
So let's go to fan posts, then we'll come to a close. All right, prediction time. This is from our good friend L. You know he's a Browns fan. He said, in y'all prediction, which quarterbacks wins the job for the Cleveland Browns? Who is the day one starting quarterback? Let's go with you, RC.
I'm be realistic. Joe Flacco. He knows the plays. He had already been there. I think I don't trust Kenny Pickett. Dylan Gabriel, ladies and gentlemen, don't even like playing in cold weather. He announced that you don't understand why football can't be played in the dome more often than not. So you in Cleveland, bro, it's cold as hell. And then Shedeur Sanders, we get an opportunity to see what he does. I think he probably be the number 2, and then Flacco break a toenail. But Flacco will be my day one starter.
How? But Gabriel played in Oregon. Is it not out?
Exactly.
But I mean, it's not.
Well, he misses the dead cold.
Yeah, Oregon's always it's raining and
but I think what he's saying is it was before the game against Ohio State where he made the comment about, hey man, why would anybody why is the NFL still playing outside? So
it's an advantage. I love it. I love the elements. I'm sorry, I just love the elements.
Welcome to the NFL, brother.
Like when the 49ers and the Bears playing that in that rain, it was like flooded in there. It was like classic football right there.
Yeah.
No, I can deal with the rain, but the cold that's different, man.
Yeah, that is different.
that cold is different. You know, that's different, man. I played like 28 degree weather one time in my life, and when I tell you the ground was hard. It was hard for my cleats to dig in. If you fall, it's gonna hurt. That's all I'm gonna say. You know,
everything numb.
Well, you know, once you get to moving around, like you're not like if you're playing and you're moving around, you're not cold. Like I seen people wearing long sleeves. You know, you go a drive, man. They taking them long sleeves off it because they're hot.
That's a different mentality for real. Flowers, who do you have as a day one starter for the Browns?
I'm like RC. It's Joe Flacco. That's the safest and only answer in my opinion. They declined the 5th-year option on Kenny Pickett, so he's in the last year. So if he doesn't make it, they can get rid of him. Got Gabriel and Shedeur. You let them battle it out and can count to see who's gonna survive the cut. We already know that Deshaun, he out for the year, so we're not going to even put him in as an equation. And I'm quite sure they'll eventually buy him out, especially if they can get a starter out of Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur. They'll buy Watson out and and rid themselves of that because they'll be on a rookie deal, so they'll be able to eat that.
Mm-hmm.
So the two quarterbacks that getting cut is Watson and y'all think Kenny Pickett.
Uh, I mean, it's easy to say that now, but Kenny Pickett has a leg up on Gabriel and Shedeur. It depends on how much the Browns want to invest in those two young guys, or they want to see what they got in Kenny Pickett. We'll see.
I laugh at the Browns because
That-
they said, "Hell, we can't find it. We've never been good at doing this. So give me as many quarterbacks as I can get."
I mean,
Like,
it's
give them
smart.
all
yeah.
come. You know,
Yep.
that'll be a crazy story. If Shedeur doesn't make the team, get cut. That'll be a
Yeah.
whole another craze that people going crazy over. If Shedeur get cut,
Mhm.
so that's why. And maybe I don't know. I seen Dylan Gabriel play. I'm not really impressed. So, but what round they picked him in? What, fourth?
Third
Third
round.
round pick.
I don't know. They cut a third rounder. It just
Yeah, they cut. Yeah, they'll cut third round. It's possible. Don't think that it's not.
mm.
They'll get rid of them.
All right.
Get
Well,
it done.
thank you, L, for seeing that question. It's gonna be interesting. In upcoming NFL season, that's for sure. Sorry we didn't get into the draft grades, but y'all already know which teams did good, what teams just did bad. No, y'all already know all that.
A lot of
CBS and
teams did
ESPN
good
put the
though.
report. Yeah, a lot of teams. I was surprised that the Falcons traded up to get that pass rusher when
I was
they could have
shocked
got
that
him in a later round.
I was shocked that they traded up for James Pierce Jr. because a lot of people took him off the draft board because of character issues. And then they gave up next year's first also. So
Mhm.
I'm assuming Atlanta's thinking they're going to be a playoff contender to give up a first round draft pick. But if it doesn't work in their favor, well, somebody's going to have a top 10, top 12 pick.
Hmm.
Also, before we end, I've told RC this also. I feel like Jacksonville gave up too much for Shedeur. I mean, for Travis Hunter. I was about to say Shedeur, excuse me. But I feel like Jacksonville gave up a lot for Shedeur because, and this has nothing to do with Travis Hunter. You have a new head coach, new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, new GM. You do not know what you have.
Mm-hmm.
You gave up more without even assessing your team. You only had a few days of OTAs. So how do you know what you have in order to give up that much for Travis Hunter? And like I said, this is no disrespect to Travis Hunter, but Cleveland has possibly put themselves in a situation to where I think they had a good draft this year. Okay, if Jacksonville is bad, they'll get a top 10 pick next year.
And Cleveland had one of the better drafts. What they
Yes.
did a lot. Junkins, Sanders, Gabriel, Mason Graham. They went to work. They drafted the
Yeah,
tight
they
end
did.
out of Bowling Green. So, hey, maybe there is a dog pound. Pittsburgh, you in trouble.
Yeah, Pittsburgh in trouble, man.
You in trouble.
Pittsburgh did not get better. And they still don't have a quarterback. So
It's gonna be
they
Aaron
gonna really
Rodgers.
ride into Mason
No.
Rudolph?
It's gonna be Aaron Rodgers. I'm willing to bet you money on this. It's gonna be Aaron Rodgers.
And
So
typical
what's holding it up though?
arrogance,
Nothing. Just
cockiness.
time. It's him taking his time.
He over there just acting like he Brett Favre again. You know, one thing I can't give Brett Favre credit for, he wasn't. People don't. Barring what he did in off the field, when he showed up, Favre was a ball player. Like
He didn't miss no game.
people love Favre, man. They love Favre in football. Like,
Didn't he break Walter Payton Iron Man record?
yeah, but Aaron Rodgers to me just gives off this energy, like the buck starts and ends with him in Pittsburgh. That's the last thing you need. You already got issue with guys in the building acting that way. So
imagine that offense, right? With Aaron Rodgers, Kenny, George Pickens, and DK. That's a lot of attitude.
That's like having that's like having a V8 and a Nissan Sentra. I mean, you got the horsepower, but not the car to carry it because who's gonna block for him?
It's a lot of personality, bro. A lot of ego.
That's Mike Tomlin love personality.
If it was a drink, it would be aspirin, Balco. It'll be HGH because DK. It'll be all kinds of stuff. vodka. Oh, you just anything crazy. What's the
Crashed
stuff?
out.
What's the stuff that your boy smoke? What's the stuff he
Ayahuasca.
take? They put that in there too.
Ayahuasca. Some
Put that in there too, and blend and
ayahuasca.
drink it, and just go ahead and tell God I'm
I'm
on my way.
curious.
Yay, yay! Like, good luck.
I hope they get Hard Knocks. I hope they. I just gotta see it. Cause we saw Gary Wilson had issues with Aaron Rodgers at the end of the season. They started having a little trouble. So what do you think George Pickens gonna say to him if he don't put it where he needs to put it where he needs to, or he runs the wrong route?
Devontae
That's
Adams
very
is not there
interesting.
to take away from Garrett Wilson, so they might not have a
Yeah.
problem.
They're gonna slap the ayahuasca out of him. I've seen somewhere where Dallas is trying to trade for Pickens, so
I did see that.
make it happen, Dallas.
They need it. They need it. All right, guys, man. It's been fun. Thank y'all guys over on TikTok for support. Follow the page, and thank y'all for tuning into the show. Like and subscribe, share with family and friends. It's good to be back with the guys. Hopefully we get to make Randy's show. We're gonna work something out with you, Randy. God, we got a busy schedule. So hopefully next week we can just collab together and just do one show next week together.
We've been on here
with
watching
some of our
sorry
topics.
ass Maple Leafs.
Yeah, they lost.
Yeah, he said, yeah, he put in the comment. Well, I'm gonna go back to the
Ottawa
comment.
was up 2-0.
He said 2-0. My Leafs are gonna be 113 after tonight. So next week, Randy, we just need to collab together and we just do one show together. Cause like I said, my schedule is I'm busy. All of us are busy during the week. So we just collab together one show next week and let's get it done. All right, again, guys. Fellas. Thank y'all for joining us. It's been real, it's been good. And until next time, same channel. Be out of here.
All right, brother.